First guest is Kirill Dmitriev, RDIF CEO. He is working alongside the world's foremost investors and make direct investments in leading as well as promising Russian companies. The RDIF was created in 2011 under the leadership of the President and Prime Minister of Russia to co-invest alongside top global investors, acting as a catalyst for direct investment in Russia. Their investment is paying off. Mr. Dmitriev, thank you very much for joining us today. The SputnikV vaccine being developed in Russia has achieved a 92% efficacy rate, according to the claims that are being made. Could you please bring us up to date with how you manage this? And what are the next steps in the direction of developing the vaccine further?
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here on the program. And when we at our fund started looking at different vaccines to decide which one to invest and back, we looked at several key criteria. One was safety. And what we really liked is the track record of human adenoviral vector, which our scientists are using. And this is the approach that has been studied for decades before in 250 clinical trials. So really, we focused on safety first. The second point, of course, was efficacy. And you rightly pointed out that on the first and second interim trial data, we show efficacy more than 90%. It's actually 91.4 if you look at the 28th day after the first shot, and it's actually more than 95% if you look on the 42nd day after the first shot. So this is definitely very impressive and very positive data. But also very importantly is that our vaccine can be stored not only at minus 18 degrees, but there is also a version that can be stored at +2, +8 degrees temperature. And our price per 2 shots is less than $20, which is significantly lower than for mRNA vaccines. So we believe altogether it's a package focused on safety, efficacy, ease of delivery, and appropriate pricing that is quite unique. And this is why we decided to back this vaccine. And this is why we believe it's one of the best solutions to be included as part of the portfolio for many countries, including India.
Mr. Dmitriev, are you in any position, and this is an obvious question I'm going to put to you, probably the easiest question for you to answer, but are you in any position to tell us how SputnikV compares to the Moderna, Pfizer, BioNTech's own vaccines that have reported efficacy of more than 90% in this race to produce a vaccine? Who, in your view and your assessment, currently stands best placed? I'm sure where you've obviously put your money on SputnikV, so you will say, or you will definitely push for SputnikV, but just at an intellectual level.
Yes, no, first of all, we cannot supply the whole world just with Sputnik V, and we definitely need Pfizer and Moderna to succeed, and AstraZeneca and other players. So each country needs to buy vaccine from several producers, and there are pluses and minuses of each. And definitely, no one vaccine or 2 vaccines can have a monopoly on vaccines. So we like that we have similar efficacy, more than 90% than mRNA. We are definitely cheaper, so we are 2 to 3 times cheaper. Definitely we have a big advantage on temperature, so +2, +8 is a possibility for us, and obviously for some you need to have minus 70 degrees, which is not only an issue of refrigerators, it's also an even issue of special glass you need to have for those kinds of temperatures. And also for us it's very important that mRNA and chimpanzee adenovirus, they're new technologies, they have not been studied for decades. So there have been no long-term studies of the safety of those vaccines. But still, we believe that Moderna and Pfizer and AstraZeneca and our vaccine, they all need to be, saving people's lives. We need all of them, more coming from Johnson & Johnson and others. And we really need to work together with different vaccine producers to really secure the whole world. So definitely we have some pluses, but we cannot be the only solution.
Can you talk a little bit about the reasons why you have been able to produce a vaccine that can be stored at lower temperatures, i.e. Between -2 and -8 or 2 and 8 or what have you? And how is it that you have also been able to achieve this price range?
Yeah, so first of all, it's not -2, -8, it's +2, +8, so that's better. And basically, it's called a dry form of vaccine. The technical term is lyophilized. So basically, we make vaccine dry, and then it can be, used at those temperatures. And we thought about this from the beginning, because we really wanted to have vaccines that's safe, efficient, easy to transport, and at a good price point. And another reason is that human adenoviral vectors, are easier to produce than some of the mRNA components. So this is why, pricing comes into question. So overall, I think it's very, important. And then we look at, for example, AstraZeneca's number of 62% efficacy, which is still not bad given that 50% efficacy is really a threshold. But of course, we are happy that our number is above 90%, and it's a combination of safety, efficacy, transportation and cost that needs to be considered, when you compare different vaccines.
Mr. Dmitriev, there are still some regulatory steps that are needed to be taken. Now, what are these steps, and how quickly are you in a position to manufacture, export, what have you?
So first of all, the vaccine is already approved in Russia, and not only we have post-registration trial in Russia of 40,000 people, but already our high-risk categories are being vaccinated, and we expect mass vaccination to start soon in Russia. We are in phase 2-3 clinical trials in India. We also have started clinical trials phase 3 in UAE, Belarus, and Venezuela. So we are very much focused on India. We believe our vaccine is very much a Russian-Indian vaccine because most of the production of our vaccine is actually in India. So we are working with your regulator. We believe that emergency approval may be received, as soon as in the next couple of months. We are sharing all of the data on the Russian trials. So really working closely with Indian regulator. And we believe India is in a very unique position to actually be one of the major producers of vaccine for the world. And definitely we are excited about our partnership with Dr. Reddy and some of the producers in India like Hetero and some others that we signed agreements with.
Where are you in your negotiations with the Indian government?
So we have very good contact, and we appreciate that, for example, Indian biotechnology labs, government labs are being used as part of the clinical trials of the SputnikV vaccine. We're in touch with your COVID committee, with different branches of the government. So we have very, very good dialogue, and we really appreciate that Indian government is open to getting Russian data. We are sending lots of information basically on a weekly basis to them. And this is a very good dialogue. And again, you have not only great scientists who really understood the science behind our vaccine right away, but a great pharma industry and definitely government that is very engaged and that is very thoughtful. And that is, a pleasure to work with them.
Finally, Mr. Dmitriev, before I let you go, where are we in the fight against COVID-19 right now? Are we towards the end, or do you believe that without vaccines, there is really no hope?
Well, I really think we're at a breaking point. I think there are lots of great positive developments. We have some efficient drugs that we are using in Russia. I think vaccines will really be a very key part of the solution. I think, we need not to expect the immediate solution right away because different vaccines in different countries will need to be delivered at different temperature conditions. But I think next year for sure is going to be a breakthrough year on COVID. I'm absolutely sure that by the middle to the end of next year, we'll actually defeat COVID together. And it will be a very important example of many countries working together, Russia, India, many others. And there is no doubt in my mind that we will defeat COVID next year.
Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Dmitriev. It was a pleasure speaking with you.